On Instagram at KBLA1580.
Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
So gorgeous, don't look gorgeous. Under the sky, stars in your eyes, this is euphoria. We can be anything, this is everything. We do the hardest things till 6 in the morning. This the feeling.
Last time I checked, I was the plug to your plug. I'm the connect. What you expect? Negotiate, never settle for less. I never lose, always winning when I shuffle.
You are locked in to get your entertainment news update with Jill Munroe. A very raspy voice, Jill Munroe. If you are out in Southern California right now, the air is nasty. We've been getting alerts on the phone. There's a couple of fires going on. And apparently my voice said, yeah, I'm with all of that. You are locked in to KBLA Talk 1580. And we are here to bring you all of your entertainment news. There is, as always, a lot to talk about. How are we feeling about that Missionary album, Snoop and Dr. Dre? I mean, that was, Gorgeous with Janae Aiko? I always jack up her last name, and I love her. It shouldn't be like that. I've heard a lot of mixed emotions surrounding the Missionary album. I feel like I think of the albums like The Chronic and Doggy Style as a pairing. I think of, is it The Dogfather and 2001? I can't remember. I think that is the pairing. And then this would be the last of that trilogy, kind of the Compton album that Dre put out a couple years ago, and maybe Missionary. I feel like it's an evolution. These are 50-something-year-old men. But Andy, what are your thoughts?
I loved the album.
I really appreciate it.
I loved it. I felt like Snoop must have had some water from the fountain of youth or whatnot.
He was rapping,
He was rapping,
right?
But then, you know what I'm saying? I was talking to some of my homies, and they was like, man, Snoop didn't write none of them raps. Oh. And I'm over here like, are you for real? Are you sure? I haven't went on the credits to verify or whatnot, but I've heard from a lot of people that he hasn't wrote those lyrics. But regardless of it, me being a Snoop fan, I liked hearing them in that regard, you know what I'm saying, being able to drop bars. And I think it was dope, him working with Dr. Dre again. In a lot of ways, it was a fresh air, you know what I'm saying? It didn't sound too West Coast, right? But you heard that Dr. Dre production, and, it was very refreshing.
Nick Hamilton, NiteCast Media, he's in the building because he's going to get into these topics with us later. We have a scorcher, but I see you, interviewing Snoop, talking to a lot of the Death Row affiliates. What were your thoughts on Missionary?
I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Okay. One thing, Dre did not produce Doggy Style. That was when Dre left Death Row, and Doggy Style was produced by Superfly, Daz, okay. DJ Pooh. So.
He had no production on Doggy Style whatsoever?
On Dogfather, no. He was gone.
No, I know not Dogfather.
But Doggy Style, Doggy Style, yes.
No, Dogfather, I know he didn't. But I'm just saying as far as companion pieces of projects.
For sure. But no, I think the only thing that was left off of there that I could have enjoyed was having the old Death Row inmates like back on the Dre track, just to tie everything back in. Like you got Daz, Corrupt, Rage, DOC, maybe find an old Nate Dogg, like, voiceover.
I would have liked that.
I would have loved that over a Dre track.
And I would have liked a little more skits, because the skits, 187.4
FM on your dial.
Yeah, they made the early stuff. So I know, Ricky Harris has passed on, but I would have liked to hear some of that, because those are some of the things that make it what it is. But listen, we are going to get into this FS1 Fox Sports story because it is a scorcher. And, one of the things that we are going to talk about with it is that the initial target of the lawsuit doesn't seem to be getting much of the heat. I think that's a little sexism. I think that there is more attention going towards Joy Taylor than Skip Bayless in this particular situation. And Nick and I are going to talk about why and thoughts. But in the meantime, before we get into that, I just want to say really quickly, Charlamagne the God said he talked to Wendy Williams over the holiday break, and she sounded fine. She sounded competent. He said she sounded as if she could do radio tomorrow. She was spotted out and about in Florida at a loved one's graduation ceremonies and a couple other places. Maybe we'll see a comeback of Wendy. Certainly would like to hear her thoughts on a couple of stories that have been floating around in the news space as we see. But we are going to get into this FS1 story with Skip Bayless, Joy Taylor, and others when we come forward. You are locked in to your entertainment update with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has a program specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to resolve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in for your entertainment news update with a very raspy voice, Jill Munroe. And I have along with me Nick Hamilton from NiteCast Media. So we are going to break down this lawsuit that was filed by former FS1 hairstylist Noshin Faraji. She's dropped some crazy serious accusations against Skip Bayless, the former host of Undisputed, Joy Taylor, and the VP of content, Charlie Dixon, and the Fox Corporation. It's a 42-page suit, and it is alleging claims of sexual harassment, sexual battery, retaliation, a hostile workplace, and she also accuses Joy Taylor of using a sexual relationship with Dixon and her ex-NFL co-host, Emmanuel Acho, my bad, I always do that, right, Acho. Shout out to the brother, perhaps, to advance her career, right? And so this was dropped, I think, late Sunday by Front Office Sports, and it's taken off. There's been some controversy because though Fox released a statement, they opted to leave Joy and Emmanuel on the air. And the thing is this. The focus of the lawsuit, the woman claims that Skip offered her $1.5 million to have an affair. Skip is married to Ernestine. There's a long list of things that she is accusing everyone of, but the focal point seems to be on Joy Taylor, allegedly using her looks and friendships to further her career. They gave the example that though Joy is the younger sister of NFL Hall of Famer Jason Taylor, and that he helped her get on the radio in Miami, Joy was a bartender who many are alleging didn't have the experience or the know-how to get into the roles that she did. So Nick Hamilton, Mr. Sports extraordinaire, I'm going to ask you what your opinion is thus far on what you've heard about this story.
It's a lot to take in. It's like Thanksgiving dinner. It's a lot to digest in one setting. I read the 42-page lawsuit. I took some time to kind of read it. It's a lot to unpack in that. I mean, just what you're saying right now is still a lot to unpack.
Right.
So as far as Joy Taylor is concerned, right, like I think she used her pretty privileged to get where she needed to go.
But why is it the assumption that she did? Why are we automatically, with no proof presented, saying, because here's the thing, right? It is because there's some really salacious things that are being alleged about Joy using that privilege, that she so-called said that should it turn back on her, should the individual that was a high-ranking individual in Fox decide to seek retaliation, move on for her, she said that allegedly she was in the power move and that she would holler sexual harassment. Now, we've talked about a lot. This is what is being alleged in this document. So we talk a lot of times about believe victims, believe people the first time. But my question is, we would have, if this had happened, believed her without question. So why are we believing in a filing without question and without evidence at this time?
Because we always had doubt.
Who's we?
A lot of people had doubt about how she got up the ranks so fast. Because, and the reason why I say that is this.
Okay.
When I look at someone such as yourself, you've been in this industry for quite some time. And you know, I've told you this too, just off air and off camera. I'm like, you should be on somebody's network. I said that to you, not because,
and I'm here,
right? But I'm saying like Fox,
Shout out to
ESPN,
and Tavis Smiley.
And great.
No,
yeah.
I know, I feel you.
I'm not minimizing any of this by any stretch.
I'm just shouting out.
I'm just
Tavis
saying. But I'm saying, like, I look at the pitfalls we hear from somebody like a Jamel Hill who's gone through the ranks, a Carrie Champion, a Hannah Storm, Elle Duncan for that matter. Like they went through the gauntlet, right? And it's not, and I'm not speaking like I know what women go. I'm not saying that, but the stories that I've heard from other women are the things that they were discriminated against, they had to fight for, that they had to
So
earn.
let me ask you, do you think that Joy was exempt from those same issues and situations somehow?
I think a lot of it, because of the time frame of how fast she moved up the ranks, even to the point that people that worked at Fox were scratching their heads like, Hey, man, I wonder, how did she move up so fast? One person in particular that broke a lot of stuff down, who was there during the time, who has known Joy Taylor since she was ankle low to a centipede toe, and you going to sit up here and tell me I'm not doubting this man because he has no reason to lie.
Well, speaking of, that's a great segue. That's why we love Nick Hamilton. He's always on.
I got you.
So, Marcellus Wiley, former NFL champion, used to work at ESPN and Fox Sports, worked with all of the parties mentioned. He has a podcast, and he discussed the situation as well. So we're going to listen to his comments on the Skip aspect of it.
Yep.
And then we're going to follow it up with his comments on Joy. And I think that you will find both situations as he lays out to be very interesting as it relates to these particular, accusations.
Disaster. And this is not to damn the makeup artist. It's because that's the breeding ground for all these salacious relationships. Everywhere I've worked, and you can look it up. You can just literally type in network, makeup artist, blah, blah, blah. It's an intimate environment. She's right in your face. And I've seen it go both ways. The players, or the former players, or the announcer, the host, whoever the guest is going in there ready to mac, ready to holler. It could be that person. It could be the makeup artist she knows how close in the proximity she is to some access, some success. She knows how powerful these figures are, And I've also seen it where you come in and you're just not even tripping. But you guys see each other 5 times a week, multiple times a day. She ain't ugly, you ain't either. You got $5, she got $4.
Listen, so he laid out a couple of scenarios that he's likely seen. He alluded to it happening before. There was a lawsuit that happened from a makeup artist with Cold Pizza back in the day on ESPN. 2 prime talents from that show were accused of some activities. You look back at, let me tell you, because I come with the receipts. There was a lawsuit a few years back with the NFL Network for NFL Game Day. And there was a makeup artist who said that there were inappropriate comments and there were things that happened to her. She alleged that Eric Davis and Michael Irvin were 2 of the individuals that approached her inappropriately. So it's not a story that we haven't heard before. But we also have to consider, as Marcellus mentioned, close proximity, jokes, comfort, day after day. Some days, some things might be okay. Some days they may not be. My question is, she was there for a very long time. When she says that throughout the years, some of these incidents happen. She even said that one time that the Dixon gentleman, the executive, fondled her at a Christmas party. She told Joy, and Joy allegedly told her, get over it. He's the boss. These things happen, move around. I can say not with this situation, but I've been around the industry a lot. And those same conversations have happened from individuals. And it's like you either go and handle it through the proper channels. It is alleged that this individual did go to HR and that there is or could be a paper trail regarding these activities. But at the same time, if you go to her Instagram, it's full of Joy Taylor and Rachel Nichols. She said they were friends at one point. At what point, when you said that this is a continuous environment that Fox Sports put you in, you didn't think to try and find a job someplace else before they could sully your name? I don't know. And I'm not saying that she should. I'm just saying these are questions that come to mind from people when you say, I went through this. I stayed for an extremely long time. I was friends with this person. I talked to them about it, but I didn't do anything.
I think also, too, now it's been reported that she was dealing with ovarian cancer and she's a single mom.
So here's the thing.
So I don't know how true that is.
She said that I don't know if she actually is. I think she alluded to, she said that allegedly to get Skip away to from back up off of her.
Well, when it comes to Skip Bayless,
oh my goodness.
1.5 million, dog. And I saw a tweet that said you could have got Sarah J for 3,000.
Who is Sarah? Maybe I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
If you've never been in the adult industry, you will not know. Those of you that are familiar with the adult industry, you know who Sarah J is. Anyway, but when I look at this, right, when I saw the one, because I think the biggest thing that jumped out about these allegations, it wasn't so much what she accused Skip Bayless of doing. It was the fact of the 1.5 million, because that was plastered all over the internet. And my thing was, who's to say that he didn't offer that? Because Skip was making coin.
Here's the thing, though. Skip is known to, and I'm not saying he didn't, because, you know, just because you are financially responsible, fiscally responsible in one area doesn't mean that you might not spend to get what you want, spend to bend. I don't know. But Skip is known notoriously as being very cheap. He eats the same meal every night. He lives a very, from what Stephen A. mentioned he lived a very conservative existence, always has never been known to be that type of individual. However, close proximity, day after day, over an extended period of time.
There was also, I mean, hey, he ain't no spring chicken. He trying to cash his chips in. You know what I mean? You up big in Vegas and you rolling big, and you like, hey, man, let me pull it back. I done came up. Maybe that's where he was at with it. I also heard, too, that there was a time where Jenny Taft, who was one of the moderators on Undisputed, Skip had made a couple inappropriate comments about her, and she immediately went to HR furious because she's a married woman, and she takes her marriage very seriously, obviously, with her family and whatnot, and she went to HR on Skip. So if that's actually true, it does not look good for Skip Bayless, and it damn sure doesn't look good for the Fox Sports Freak-Offs, because the thing about Skip is people say, well, can he go to jail? Is there criminal activity? No, but
it's inappropriate behavior.
But if there's a morals clause in his contract,
well, he's no longer with Fox.
No,
so.
but it happened at the time where he was with Fox. So if there's a morals clause and he violated, if they find evidence that he violated that with this young lady who was the MUA, now there's a potential that he could possibly go back. They could go back and get some money.
No way. Let me tell you why I think no way. Because this young lady allegedly went to HR, because there are allegations in this lawsuit, because I read some of it as well, that she went to HR. HR picked talent over the sides, that there was favoritism and things of that nature. Then they were complicit in it. Which and that's why she's suing them as well. So for them to come back and try and take something from Skip, when
it'd be
they were
difficult.
That won't happen.
I get what you're saying. That makes sense.
Now there is something else. They're alleging that Joy Taylor, when she first got there, she was still married. They're alleging that her then husband allegedly found out about these activities and that he was paid to go away quietly and divorced quietly, and that is why, you know, one day she was married, the next day she sort of wasn't, and there was no real mention of it. Not, again, that your personal business is owed to the world, but yeah.
And my love goes bang, bang, bang. When it comes to her, I will say this much, because even when she was engaged to Earl Watson, remember that time with Earl Watson? I do remember
that, yes.
And then allegedly Earl Watson found text messages of her being out there with the executive, and then that's when he split. And she tried to make it seem like he was verbally abusive and all this other stuff, trying to clean up her dirt. The thing that gets me about all of this is that when if it's true that she was going to allegedly do this executive in, meaning she was going to lie and try to ruin this man's life because of a
allegedly.
No, I'm saying allegedly.
Allegedly, there's no proof.
No, I'm saying allegedly. That's why I say if it happens to be proven true, and it's alleged right now, that's scandalous, because we know how many guys have been victims of women lying, and it also, on the flip side of that, the women who have actually been violated and assaulted in that way, it makes their stories even harder to believe.
100%.
Which is foul.
100%.
So that's where I'm like, if that's proven true about Joy Taylor,
right,
I'm done.
But but we have to give her the benefit of the doubt.
Sure,
One thing,
absolutely.
Fahima in the chat mentioned Joy has a BA in communication broadcast journalism. So that means that she wasn't just out of nowhere unqualified.
No, we're not
She did
saying
grow up
that.
with sports fans. I'm just adding that in there for texture and layer so that we are fully addressing everything. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into Marcellus's comments regarding Joy Taylor. We're going to get into Jason Whitlock's comments, and we're going to have more conversation about this. Because again, I still want to know, why is Joy taking the brunt of the heat in this situation when Skip is the one that she is saying actually harassed her? That's all I want to know in the public as well. Everyone is focused more so on that than even the 1.5 million. I'm just wondering. Listen, if you want to call in, 800-920-1580, light us up in the YouTube chat. All of that, because we want to hear what you have to say too. There's some comments. We'll get into that on the other side. You know what's coming up. News, sports, and traffic. When we come forward, we're going to get back into the deets.
Follow me, I'm on the dial speed. My stock up, no return on this policy.
Gorgeous, the gorgeous. Under the sky, stars in your eyes, this is euphoria. We can be anything, this is everything. We do the wildest things till 6 in the morning. That's that feeling.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 things you should know from VIN News. A vigil will be held tonight in southeast Memphis to mark 2 years since Tyree Nichols' death. A march this evening will end where Nichols was beaten by officers in 2023. Event organizers say the event honors his memory while calling for accountability and trust in law enforcement. Daniel Penny, acquitted in a black man Jordan Neely's 2023 subway death, is asking to dismiss a civil suit filed by Neely's father, who alleges negligence. Penny's team argues the case should be dropped due to his criminal acquittal. A New York judge has denied President-elect Trump's bid to delay sentencing in his hush money case. Trump, convicted on 34 counts of falsified business records, argues the case should be tossed due to presidential immunity. And a 7-year-old boy missing for 5 days in South Africa was found safe in a lion-infested park. Rescuers searched after he wandered from his village on December 27th, calling it a true miracle. I'm Amber Payton on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Let's look at the closure along Sunset Boulevard as a result of the Palisades fire. This is from Temescal Canyon Road all the way to Pacific Coast Highway. Pacific Coast Highway shut down as well between Las Flores Canyon and the 10 freeway. The 10 westbound is shut down at Lincoln. They're diverting you off there. They don't want anybody heading down to Pacific Coast Highway. And Topanga Canyon off limits between Mulholland and Pacific Coast Highway. Tough drive right now in Downey. This wreck on the 105 eastbound before Lakewood has only the right lane open. Delays off of the 405. And it's tough on the 405 northbound out of Culver City from the 90 all the way to Devonshire in North Hills. Very slow out of Pasadena. This is the 210 eastbound leaving Rosemead as you continue in stretches towards Citrus.
Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $175 off your print order. Exclusion supply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 2/1. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
There was a time Los Angeles did not have an NFL franchise. Now the city has 2 teams in the NFL playoffs. For 22 years, between 1994 and 2016, the NFL went about its business without a team in LA. The Raiders moved back to Oakland and the Rams went to St. Louis. The Rams came back to LA in 2016. The Chargers left San Diego for LA in 2017. Since the Rams and Chargers have been in LA, the city has had 2 NFL teams in the same playoffs twice. The Rams and Chargers made the playoffs in 2018 and this year. New York and LA, the only cities with 2 NFL franchises, have never had their teams face each other in a Super Bowl. Even if the Rams and Chargers don't make it to the Super Bowl this year, the NFL is fully aware that the LA market is still strong. LA will never go 22 years again without an NFL team. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at KBLA 1580.
Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that 3 out of 4 adults in the United States have a high risk factor for severe COVID-19. And black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their program. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah. They thought we forgot. We ain't forget. Don't let that broke in, cause she too messy. Who the them broke boys with? Get out my section. Get out my section. Just pull the muscle, God, too much flexing. Caught them in traffic on the accident, we pressing. Got them. Smoking Zaza every second, I be stressing. If you ain't tryna beat them, won't you stretch them? Do that. They wipe their nose for that
Sometimes
tissue,
I like
God
this
bless them.
modern hip-hop.
What is this?
You don't know? I don't know the name either. I've heard the song.
Andy.
I got the gang tatted on me. That's for
Okay. Let me tell you, for 2.3 seconds, I thought it was Boss Man D-Lo. So let me tell you how off the frame off I am. Welcome back in. You are locked in to RSB. This is the entertainment news update. But, same vibe, same energy. Now, listen, I told you that this Fox Sports alleged misconduct lawsuit has got everyone buzzing. And of course, that means that former employees and so forth have weighed in with their opinions. We're in the building with Nick Hamilton of NiteCast Media, who secretly got a little tea on the insides of the situation. But before we get into more conversation with Nick, I wanted you to hear what Jason Whitlock had to say. Jason Whitlock used to work at Fox Sports 1. He used to work with some of the parties that are mentioned. Oh, I should mention in the lawsuit that the young lady alleges that Skip was jealous because he thought she had a relationship with Shannon Sharp. She said she didn't, and Shannon did come out and say, I'm not in none of this. Minding my business over here, basically, and that Skip was jealous of that. So it's a lot of things in this lawsuit that are crazy. But Whitlock weighed in with his opinion, and let's just say that it is interesting. And if this is the environment that was circulating for others, right? I mean, I don't know, but here we go.
I know what I'm capable of. And that big rack of hers that she showed off constantly, it's just, and that peanut butter skin with that big rack. Like, Jay, keep your distance.
So, one, I'm glad he knows himself to know that he would have been harassing her had he gotten too close, because why are you calling her peanut butter skin and talking about a rack? He did that several times through this interview, by the way.
First of all, Jason Fatlock doesn't have a chance in West Hell with gasoline draws on Joy Taylor. Let's be clear about that. Some people are Don in their own minds, but the reality of it is she wasn't gonna give you time of day anyway, bruh. You were gonna be part of a suit that she was gonna have to file if you would have moved on your intentions. He probably got pictures of her. He probably followed her Instagram and got pictures of her. That's why he could talk so eloquently and describe her figure the way that he did. And the thing about it is, look, everybody don't want everybody, right? Just because the one dude got a chance don't mean you automatically got a chance.
Facts.
And so I think, yeah, she may have been allegedly having hot, lovely relations with the executive, with Emmanuel Acho. There's also some talk of a couple other names that's about to be dropping. There's a lot of things. No, I'm just saying, I'm not allegedly. I don't know. I have not. Listen, all I know is that this thing is we're gonna go down a rabbit hole with this entire lawsuit before it's all said and done.
Listen, we have a caller on the line, but before we get into that really quickly, DJ Black 909 in YouTube land says, you do not dip your pen in the company ink. Pretty Brown Mimi says, what happened to not eating where you bleep? Mm-hmm. Let's see. Fahima Sex says, I'm sorry, Jason Wishlock wishes he was part of the scandal. You know, I mean, y'all hit it right there, right there. We got Brother Alfonso from Lakewood on the line. Welcome in. Let me hear your thoughts about all of this.
Hi, Jill. First off, welcome back. Glad to see you back on the air with us.
Thank you.
I'm thinking, I've been listening to Joy for a long time. Okay, I don't know if this is true or not, but what I do know is Joy knows sports. So I'm hearing some people alluding to that she's not qualified, but she knows sports just as much as any man I hear talking on the airwaves.
I agree.
And I know sports. So I'm that part of, she's using her look. What's she gonna? She can't help how she looks.
Thank you.
And hey, I think I'm handsome. I can't help how that looks. So I'm just saying, talking about her looks and what comes out of her mouth says she knows sports. And that's what I'm going to rock with. I've always said Joy was one of the top-notch sport analysts on TV as a female and also rocking with the men. There's men who come from the league who are now on TV who have not put in the time that Joy has put in. So everybody's just jumping on top of Joy because of the looks, and that's just not fair.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your perspective.
Well, it kind of sounds like somebody got a crush on somebody. But anyway,
Nick.
let's not be ignorant and act like pretty privilege does not exist in this industry, because it does.
It does.
We live in a very atypical, superficial society that no matter how qualified a person may or may be, if they feel like you adapt to a particular demographic or a particular narrative that they want to paint and you fit that, they're going to pull you regardless. So let's not act like that. Now, if you think this person is the greatest since sliced bread when it comes to sports talk, that's your opinion. Many people would say otherwise. It's all subjective. The thing about it is no one is talking about whether she got a degree, didn't get a degree, what have you, whatever. We're talking about how fast she went up the ladder. On top of that.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Did you have those same type of questions for someone like Bill Simmons? Did you have those same type of questions for someone like Jason McIntyre? Are you asking who they were having relations with to ascend that quickly?
No.
Because Joy is getting that because she's an attractive woman. Those two individuals not necessarily qualified in the same way as others.
I agree.
And ascended up the ladder
But
quickly,
I said it was about
not the same
I said it was about race more than anything else.
Okay.
That's what I question. When you talk about Bill Simmons, I question about the race and not necessarily the impact or the qualifications of that individual since you brought that up. I have, because I've said it publicly. You go back and find my stuff on audio. I've said that. I think Jason McIntyre, that's another story for another day. But what I will say also, too, is I think a lot of people, when you talked about, you raised a great question earlier about how come Skip Bayless doesn't get the same flack and the same fire, hell, and brimstone that Joy Taylor's getting. I think 3 factors are a part of that. 1, it is sexism. I think 2, there's a bit of race to be played into that because of the backgrounds. And I also think some of it was surprise because the way Joy Taylor set herself up as far as talking about women empowerment, talking about believing in yourself as a woman, making sure you set boundaries, this, that, and the third, I think that caught people by surprise. Some people, I'm not saying everybody, but I think that caught some people by surprise. Skip Bayless simping for $1.5 million. We like, dog, we can believe that. He look at Skip. Like that could happen.
That could happen. Listen, we're gonna put a pin in that. When we come forward, we're gonna get into more of Marcellus Wiley's comments about Joy Taylor and some more conversation around this because it's media, y'all. Media is changing and people seem to have a lot of opinions. All of that and more on the other side. You are locked in to KBLA Talk 1580.
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online.
Uh-huh.
I read that 3 out of 4 adults in the United States have a high risk factor for severe COVID-19. And black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're getting your entertainment news update with my raspy voice self, Jill Munroe. Now, before we play this Marcellus Wiley clip, Brother Alfonso, who called in a little bit ago, and Nick had a little response to him because he felt that Brother Alfonso's opinion was colored by his eyes, you know. But he came up in the chat and he said, I wish I didn't get cut off on my take about Joy. Has nothing to do with a crush on Joy. Just the fact that what comes out of her mouth says she knows sports. Allegations aside. And he welcomed me back. Thank you.
That's your opinion, sir. Again, as I stated, if you clearly heard what I said, it's subjective. You know what the word subjective is? If it's not, Google is your best friend. Okay.
Oh, my goodness. So let's get into what Marcellus Wiley had to say. Now, this is just a minute of a longer conversation. Keep that in mind. But this is some of what he had to say about the allegations, especially in reference to Joy.
Heard that Charlie Dixon and Joy Taylor were sleeping together. But upon hearing that, I'm not going to lie to y'all, it makes a lot of things make sense. It unlocks a lot for me. Sleeping with Emmanuel Acho, I've heard that before, multiple times. Recent as a week or two ago. Part of the reason it was suggested that they do a show together was because of these allegations in the lawsuit that they were sleeping together, conspiring to get that to go. Conspiring with Charlie, conspiring with Emmanuel Acho. Let's make this work. What is crazier is how they split apart. Do it different shows. You can say, well, Skip is fired, which is a part of this lawsuit as well. I mean, this is crazy. That's why I say I'm a systematic.
So Marcellus said he heard those same rumors too. Marcellus said that it doesn't seem like a coincidence that Joy and Emmanuel ended up on the same show together. I don't know.
I mean, if you watch the rest of that, because I watched the rest of that show, he also said the reason why they on different shows now is because the executives found out that the relationship allegedly went sour, and so they want to keep both of them on it, so they gave them different separate shows. That's what Marcellus had also said, which I could see that too. Like, hey, we both got them under contract.
Yeah.
We can't have
we don't want it to be
any PR, negative PR.
Flow. We don't want the set to be uncomfortable for anybody. Let's move them around. 2 different day parts. They don't even necessarily got to cross paths with each other in the dressing room where all of this alleged to have gone down.
Allegedly.
So, I mean, what are your final thoughts on all of this, Nick?
Again,
it's still early in the situation.
As I said, I think we're gonna go further down this rabbit hole before it gets finalized. And I think I could see a settlement out of court as far as the Skip Bayless situation and the MUA, the young lady who's the MUA is concerned. Hairstylist, excuse me. I could see a settlement out of court. I think Fox will also settle out of court because if these allegations prove to be true, this is damning evidence, not just against Skip Bayless, but against Fox Sports. And Fox Sports 1.
And it's bringing up, once again, those, good old boy environments, boys will be boys,
not protecting
locker
women,
room culture, and all of these things. So, Andy.
Stephen A. and Molly's on the clock right now. Look, I'm not trying to put that energy out there, but just considering all of this stuff, it's like.
But here's the thing, and that is a good example that you bring up. Because Molly was married to Jalen Rose for a period of time. And in theory, they probably met at work. Here is the bottom line when you're dealing with talent and really in any workplace situation, but especially when you're dealing with things that are front-facing, camera talent, attractive people or non-attractive people, whatever you think are going to be attracted and attractive to people. And people are going to sometimes connect. And sometimes we think nothing of it.
I mean, when you're in close proximity, so many days and so much time. I mean, Andy and I are WWE fans. They're on the road 51 weeks out of the year. We hear so many times about backstage romances formulating, even when they have outside relationships, because they're constantly around each other. That synergy continues to breed, and eventually it's going to turn. It has a higher probability of turning into something than not. That's just how it goes. The only man that has escaped all of this, Colin Cowherd.
Oh.
He's the only one that has not been mentioned negatively. Everybody, even Joy, said he's a very professional person. He doesn't cross any lines. Everybody that's worked with Colin said he's very professional and very astute and very down the line. Like, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're here for a show, and that's it. So if anybody's in the clear, it's Colin Cowherd.
I mean, listen.
For now.
But again, one day, because some of this was alleged to have happened not at work, at a Christmas party, where there was probably alcohol and things flowing, and maybe people thought it was a much more casual situation than what it was. Those type of things become fuzzy at times.
That's why I don't drink at company functions.
I'll
take one drink. I'll take one drink, but that's as far as I go.
100% I agree with that.
Let everybody, because I've learned too, if you let everybody else drink, you learn something.
Does Acho still get some smoke?
I mean, he didn't really do anything wrong. Listen, so they hooked up. So they talked about, hey, let's pump each other up and get on air together. I mean, them having a relationship is their business. Them saying, hey, let's work together to try and make us shine on and get on this show.
No.
That's what you do with coworkers sometimes in those things. So I can't be mad at that. The things that are tricky would be, if you directed this woman that felt uncomfortable to not say anything, that's not cool. If you threatened sexual harassment, if this man didn't do what you wanted him to do, that's not cool. But her maybe sleeping her way around, it's not right, but like Whitney said, it's probably okay. I don't know, because I feel like people have relationships all the time, and that line gets really fuzzy.
I guess in this instance, as they once said, ain't no fun if the homies can't have none.
I mean, your marriage, Andy.
And if I'm not mistaken, didn't Joy Taylor kind of pass herself to Skip, or attempted to?
Did she?
That's what I read.
Did I misread that? Maybe I misread it.
I didn't see that, but
because there was a discussion about bringing Joy on Undisputed, and Skip Bayless had pushed back, right? And Charlie Dixon or whatever arranged the meeting, right, for Joy and Skip to meet or whatnot. And then I read that, she came in very, revealing or whatnot, and even kind of pushed up on Skip. But I think, Skip hit her with the Heisman or something like that. But
yep.
Well, listen, there are a lot of things. How come it couldn't have just been Skip met her and saw her winning personality, and that she could hang and moderate the conversation and was like, okay, cool. Because I remember when Jenny was on the air in the center, and that was uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. It was an uncomfortable situation. You could tell that they did not like each other on air. So we'll have to see. We will continue to monitor this story for sure, because there continues to be a lot of conversation about it. And what happens to effectively, what happens to any situation, I guess, but what happens to FS1 as far as how they look in all of this, because it is being alleged that they knew, and we're just like, handle that, somebody get to it.
I mean, it's definitely, if it's proved, like I said, like we talk about all these allegations, if it's proven true, that's definitely negligence. It's a list of other things, and it also shows that, hey, you know what, you don't protect women. And then also too, agents are going to be kind of skeptical and saying, hey, let me apply for my talent at this particular position there, because they're not going to get a fair shake, or they're not going to be protected. So it's a lot of different factors that go on. But, listen, man, this is the world that we live in, unfortunately. We're in a social media age where everything is being put on blast. That's just where we are. So, man, I know a couple brothers that was kind of like, you let the corny dude hit?
Listen. The
corny dude?
So Charlie Dixon goes out of this situation unscathed?
Oh, no, he's probably going to have to resign.
He's done.
Okay. Something is going to happen.
He's done.
And, he'll have to deal with his wife. But here's the thing. Isn't the whole thing with all of the stuff, a corny guy getting money, that's his power to flex? Isn't that why they want it or something? I don't know. Isn't that the conversation generally? Able to pull a woman
of course.
Of that caliber?
We just shoot jokes, but I'm just saying overall. I mean, because I know brothers had crushes on her because she's Joy's a nice looking lady. Like let's not front like she's not, right? Like she's a very attractive woman.
That peanut butter skin, I cannot believe.
Man,
he said peanut butter.
Jason
skin.
Fatlock, your boy.
Come on,
your boy.
Easy. Listen. I want to thank Mr. Nick Hamilton from NiteCast Media. Follow him everywhere on social media.
At Nick Hamilton LA on Instagram, at Nick Hamilton 213 on X, and then YouTube.com/NH Experience TV. Subscribe.
213. Hit me up at Stiletto Jill. Thank you guys for locking in. Make sure that you are riding with us tomorrow. Coming up, when we come forward, is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. He's going to have all the heat for you. Make sure that you are tapped in tomorrow, 6 p.m. for more fire entertainment topics. We have a lot on deck. And of course, hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Send us feedback. We love it. Thank you for tapping in. We will... news, sports, and traffic. That's what's up next. Thanks for locking in.
Rather be alone than unhappy, yeah. I'm packing back so you can leave town for a week. Yes, I am. The phone rings, and then you look at me. Turn and look at me. You said it was one of your friends down on